Why do some legacy stories feel so good? Here's some thoughts through the combination of legacy mentor, felt safety, and writing legacy stories. I have some thoughts for you. Let's see what happens. And with each of these responses, think of them again as prompts about living your legacy life and see where it might take you. So, felt safety creates the ground for emotional honesty. So, with aging confidently and with a legacy mentor, this legascent, you are free to speak, explore, and feel without judgment or fear of disconnection. Because what's happening here is you have a sense of presence. There's deep listening that's taking place, especially when that legacy mentor is present. And I'm going to encourage, as you look at these three statements and answer this question, bring that legascent in with you, that legacy mentor. Because if that legascent is doing their approach correctly, then there won't be interruption. They're going to flow with you as you are noodling and doodling through what you're thinking. Because what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be reflecting on your emotional truth, your buried messages, and your spiritual longing. So, nice poetic way of saying, of the things you're thinking about, feeling about, sort of within, without, within, around, for, because of what's going on in your life, then the reflection that you have an opportunity to reflect on with your legacy mentor can bring to the surface so many more beautiful insights and interpretations that you can investigate and interpret as you walk forward. Thus, I would encourage you to trust your voice. Whatever comes to the surface, the questions you're asking, trust that voice, position yourself so that your responses make sense to you. They are within that conversation you're having with your legacy mentor. And what it does is it's bringing forth your wisdom. And it's your wisdom that helps to ground you in this emotional honesty that when you go to shape and share your legacy life, in this case, legacy stories, then you know that they're grounded, they're rooted in something that you can almost, in a sense, if not, touch and be able to bring reference back to. And that's and that is most helpful and useful to you. This mention of felt safety also supports meaning making without shame. I don't know about you, but there are memories that are coming back that I go, oh, I wish I had said I'm sorry back then. Or now that I'm a few years along, I go, why was I even thinking that? Why did I do that? And sometimes that can make you retreat and forget something, whereas there might be learning there that you can bring forward without having to relive it or bring it out in a way that there is shame involved with it or encourage shame from someone else. But what you can do is with this felt safety in place and being in it's active, then the mental and emotional systems relax, which is great because it's allowing you to integrate storytelling and story sharing. So the story sharing is when it's coming from you with someone else. Storytelling is coming from you for a group of persons. Think about storytelling around the campfire, story sharing, sitting and having a coffee with a person. And what's happening here is that this is where vulnerability meets curiosity. And if there's anything that I would encourage, and I've mentioned this already, is may curiosity fill the day. As you are aging confidently, to be able to stay present with this aging and your beliefs and your mental thoughts and emotions, you're going to be vulnerable even to yourself to remember them because of what I just mentioned about a minute ago. Because as you start to align your memory and values and life experiences, you're going to be going, am I going to identify a legacy spark here that get me to move in a certain way in the writing of a story, crafting of a story, filming of a story. So give yourself that opportunity to find that meaning making, because really what you're doing is you're looking for how to take the experience you've had, reframe the story that has some coherence for use now, to pass it along as that gift. And one of the ways to do that, and this has helped me because of those situations I introduced this section with, was that I said to myself, I never told someone this, but it will always matters to me because. And then I try to figure out what happened for me, what did it do for me, and what is it that I can share, pass along the wisdom that goes with that. So that was one of the ways in which I wanted to take a look at this meaning making and to do it without shame, because that's so important. This third one around felt safety inspires story living, not just storytelling, can be done with you and those that you have conversations with. It can be with you and a legacy, mentor. So think about this a little bit broader, looking at all those that you're going to interact with. And one of the things that I would encourage is to think about, yes, there's storytelling, story sharing. These are the formats in which you bring your story to living life. But if you were to say, hang on a minute, is it story living? That is a really important way to up level what you're doing here from writing and shaping and sharing your legacy stories, because living that story, in other words, story living, means that, yes, I'm sharing it, but guess what? With that insights and ideas I get from that sharing, that telling, I might go, I could actually reinterpret what I'm sharing. I could edit it, add, alter, delete. And that is a wonderful way in which to move forward. Because if you have the felt safety as of the other two that I've just mentioned, and you bring these insights I'm going to share with you now into the mix, then story living becomes foreground. So when you feel safe, you can tell the truth of your experience, and those you interact with have that opportunity as well, because they find that felt safety in being able to converse with you, to interact with you, to inspire their own involvement with you. And story living begins when safety allows action aligned with values. When we understand our values, there's so much more that we can do with it. Our values are what is of most importance to us, because it's through our values that we decide consciously and sometimes non-consciously what it is that we're going to do. And if you understand your hierarchy of values, then living your legacy life, then story living. Oh, I'll tell you, it really makes a difference. And it's taken me, I'm in my 71st revolution of the sun, and I'm still bringing that element into living my legacy life. So I thought I'd share that as a personal story as well. And what happens here is this story living, it shifts you from this idea of performance to connection. Yes, I am on a unique journey, but I'm also adventurous together. So my performance, yes, but it's the connection and what it is that we're going to be able to accomplish together. And from monologue to dialogue, and that is, if you are only presenting your voice and mastery and position and authority, okay, that could be a monologue. There you go. But if you're doing it by exchanging insights and information and interpretations and investigations with others, then the story that you're bringing to the foreground can be that much deeper and simpler, better, wiser, kinder. Ah, what a way in which to bring your story to the foreground. And with this felt safety, it's important to remember you unlock the movement, the momentum, and that meaningful contribution. Because your legacy stories, when they start to become known to others and you bring them to the foreground and you actually start to share them, they can be legacy contributions with one or two or three people, or they can become a legacy project and it can be many persons that are engaging with your story. So, with these three ideas, what I'm attempting to do is bring awareness of truth, trust, and transparency to you. So if you re-listen to these 3 points again, now add the truth, trust, and transparency aspect to it, that finding that truth, sharing that trust within yourself and with others, and be transparent about what it is you want to share, to live. And therefore, living your legacy life becomes that impetus, that inspiration to age confidently, gracefully, naturally. What you're seeing now popping up, having gone through the presentation, are videos that I would encourage you to go to next. And you will find that what they'll do is they'll up your insights into living this legacy life. In particular, the playlist prompt, because I shoot these shorts anywhere from 50 seconds to a couple of minutes. And again, they're almost like daily prompts, and you can use those with your journal to shape and share your legacy stories, to live your story, to be in your legacy story living. Best wishes with it, and take care.